Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome this afternoon on this webinar about the Master MA Applied Musicology. You're very welcome, and I am very happy to see you all here. Our host for today is me. My name is Sarah Lambrecht. I'm a teacher at the Master of Applied Musicology, and next to me is Lotte Lepoutre. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's a current student of this wonderful program. We're going to host you through this webinar today. If you have any questions, you can reach us on chat. On chat is our colleague Karin. She will answer happily all your questions, and if they're we'll see them too on the screen and try to answer them as they come along. Today we're going to talk about the MA Applied Musicology. This is a short summary of our webinar this afternoon. I want to talk about what the program focuses on, the focus on musical infrastructure, how it offers a specific knowledge and skills required for musicology to operate successfully within the international music practice. It's a one-year program of 60 EC. It's in English. We have a small-scale education here, a small-scale group in the international environment of Utrecht. We'll talk about it a little bit more later on. And of course, there's always opportunities for exchange, for collaboration. We have opportunities to go abroad for your internship, etc., etc. We have a slogan of our MA program, and it's getting to know the music scene. Let the music scene get to know you. So, let's talk about musicology. What is musicology? The word musicology literally means the study of music, encompassing all aspects of music in all cultures and all historical periods. In practice, musicology includes a wide variety of methods of studying music in a scholarly endeavor. Although the study of music performance is an important facet of musicology, music performance itself is a different area of study. Here in Utrecht, we have certain amounts of methods of studying music that is highly present, and others are not so present enough. But you can find other methods of studying, for instance, at Musicology of Amsterdam. Utrecht is known for its historic musicology and his music and media aspects in the bachelor's. And of course, this applied musicology as a master. So what exactly is then applied musicology? It's basically a practice-based form of musicology. So it's analyzing how music or the musical life and the musical infrastructure functions within its society. I think that's clear. Yes. Let's move along. A bit more about this program. So the program of applied musicology. I'll walk you through it. The program focuses on musical infrastructure, which basically means the music industry. What is there? What are the players? What are the institutions? And it offers specific knowledge and skills required for musicologists to operate within this international music practice. You need to know about what is marketing, music marketing, what is radio, what are the media channels, how does law and copyright work, how will you set up a festival, what comes along, what are the policies, etc. That's the practice and the skills that are part of this applied musicology. It's also a program where there's reflective training in both current and innovative approaches in musicology. Whereas at the same time, academic musical knowledge and skills are translated in day-to-day challenges in musical life. For instance, we have courses that help writing about music, or that offer insights into current musicological research teams with our current musicology course. And then in last point on this wonderful slide is the program is designed in a direct dialogue with top-of-the-bill institutions within the musical infrastructure in the Netherlands and beyond. It does not discriminate between classical and popular music. Two important aspects here means we have direct contact with this musical infrastructure. Guest lectures are present, people with wonderful functions and jobs working in the industry are coming to our courses, are helping to design our courses, and both classical music and popular music or jazz music or dance music or Any kind of music is welcome as a subject within our courses, because it's also about musical infrastructure and the complete musical infrastructure. So that's important. We do not discriminate. The program. Our program focuses on students that are accompanied very intensely, because it's a small group, we'll talk about this a little bit later, while developing research and reflective skills relevant to questions in contemporary music production, programming, financing, and participation, as well as writing about music. I've mentioned this before. Maybe we can talk a little bit about the current group. We have a small group of 25 students this year.
Yes.
And it's a very diverse group with international students and students from everywhere within Holland as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit about the diversity in the group and how this actually is very positive in the courses?
Yeah, well, what you already said is that just from everywhere in Holland we come, and we also, I think we have an Italian student this year, a girl from China, and even an Icelandic guy studying with us. But not only internationally, we are from different backgrounds, but also what you said within the music. Some have done musicology, some have done music production, some come from the conservatory, some are music teachers. So we are a very diverse group, and it's very interesting to learn from each other.
And also, I think diverse in interests. Some are classically trained or a violinist, etc. Some are a pop bass player, etc. So it's a very dynamic group to have in the courses, and you can really also learn from each other.
And we do that a lot because we are so small. We don't only learn from the syllabus, but we learn a lot by listening to each other's stories and ideas.
Definitely. Thanks. The next bullet point on the program says required skills, for example, journalistic writing skills, are trained extensively in classroom labs, coached by professors and professionals. The writing about music is a NACLAB program. Also, the staging music is a NACLAB program. So it means you actually get to work on things. You get to work on building a festival, on writing a review, and you get trained intensively, coached by these professors and professionals. Yes.
I actually think that's one of the course that you named, the journalistic writing course. It's a very good addition to the academic writing that we have to do, because I think most of us will end up using more journalistic writing skills within the field than only the academic writing. So that's
Can you maybe give an example of a certain assignment in that course that you had to write?
Yeah, we had to make assignments in different styles. So we had to write a column, but also do an interview. And the final project, we had to make a music magazine. So we think about a theme which is relevant, what's going on now, and for who do you write. That was a great project to do, and very helpful in learning how to address the audience that you want to reach.
Okay. This is a small overview of the program outline, basically the numbers. The program is divided into a solo semester and an ensemble semester. It starts with the ensemble semester, as you can see. The year is divided in 4 study periods. Study period 1 and 2 is the first semester, in which you take courses. There's 3 courses at the same time, going on for 10 weeks. We have 2 courses within the musicological fundamentals. Current musicology deals with the current issues in academic writing within musicology. And there's an elective in that line of interest in study period 2. You can, if you want to, apply for the historic musicology, but you can also fill that in differently with programs with courses outside of our program. And then there's a second line, which is music, media, and infrastructure, of which the course musical infrastructure in an international context is the one in study period 1. I teach that course. I think it's a better title might be Introduction into the Music Business. It's a very fun course to get to know the infrastructure, and I love teaching it. And in the second period in this music, media, and infrastructure line, we have also room for an elective. You can choose to do music and media, which is one of our own courses, but you can also choose to fill it in a different way. I think that producing arts and society is one of the courses that is often chosen a popular elective. And then as a third line, we have the NEC Lab series, which I already mentioned. In period 1, you have the writing about music. And in period 2, we have staging music, which deals more with programs, productions, and there's a lot of guest speakers in that course. And then in the second part of the year, you can write, or you have to write a thesis and do an internship. It says here that there's room for ECs to be handed out, but in general, it's 15 ECs for your internship and 15 ECs for your thesis. You're free to choose whether you do both at the same time, part-time, and take 2 blocks to do both, or do in study period 3 your thesis, or in study period 4 your internship. It's not always that way that you find an internship that fits in one study period, so you might have to be flexible about this. Of course, there's intensive supervision and help to get the right internship and to find the right thesis subjects. If you have any questions about this program outline, please send them to us in the chat. We can try and answer these. Let's see what we else have. Oh, this is maybe interesting to you, of some of the topics that recent students have written about. I've put some here together. The branding of classical artists, which is mostly to do with marketing, or questions like, what is the future of virtual reality in rock music? Do new concert formats reach a younger audience? Is a topic that comes along a lot. Is a new genre name for classic music in order? Should we call it classical music? Should we call it music? Should we call it neoclassical? How do festivals look at engaged programming? Should every festival have a political message? Should there be inclusivity or diversity in programming of festivals, etc.? We have a student that finished last year that wrote a thesis on the narrative function of music in Soviet music films. Can be very specific, or it can be the other way around, the role of sound producing in soundtracks, and then tailoring to a specific case study of, let's say, Lord of the Rings. We have one of our first students to finish applied musicology wrote a thesis on African American feminism in hip hop. The options are endless. I must though mention that this is applied musicology, although some of the subjects here are are linked to marketing or sociality or gender studies. It always has to have a musicology founding, a musicology ground to work on. Lotte is in the process of finding a good subject for her thesis.
Yes. It's difficult because there's so many interesting things.
Yeah. And I think many of the courses also helped to tailor yourself towards your interests and towards some topics. I think we even had a brainstorm session about what would you change in the music industry, and we had certain subjects already coming up. But it can be in line of your already existing experience, or it can be something completely new in which you have, if you need more experience.
That's actually a thing that I remember that you said at the beginning of the year, that even though the courses are set and there is still room for elective things, but mainly within the courses you can really choose your own subjects on which you want to elaborate or look into more, and thus you really make your own program.
Yeah, it's
which is a bit challenging, of course, but it's also very nice.
Definitely. So, you can take charge of your learning curve. It's really important. You can take out of it what you want.
I see we get a question from Tim here, and he'd like to know whether he could do some of his courses abroad, and if so, then where.
You can definitely take the electives abroad, although you can choose what you want, but it has to be approved by the exam committee. If you can persuade them, then it is part of your ideal individual program and it fits the program really well, then why not? You can take them actually anywhere I think you want. I have to look into that. But both universities have to be okay with that, of course, because there's also the matter of tuition, etc.
Yeah.
I would say that within the EU, it's probably definitely no problem. Outside of the EU, it's worth looking into. But yeah, there's definitely room to look into that and see if that can happen, and it would be interesting as well to get more experience. I have. Tying into that, I have a certain students that really want to do internships abroad.
Yeah.
That can also be an interesting way to get some experience internationally.
I hope one of us is going to New York.
Yes,
this year.
Loni, one of the students, is
going to the council in New York.
Yeah,
in the culture department.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah,
and last year we had a student that worked in Scotland at the National Choir of Scotland, and the year before Moira went to the Boiler Room in Berlin. So anything's possible.
It is an international context. So
it is definitely international. So I hope, Tim, that answers your question. If you have more questions or detailed questions, please send us an email and we can definitely discuss, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe if we're talking about thesis topics.
Okay, I'll scroll back. No problem.
Sorry, the internships as well. There are so many diverse places that people go to do their internship. We have one now applying for the Concertgebouw in Brugge.
Yeah,
I think, but also for Holland Baroque or the Early Music Festival.
Yeah.
One of us is going to a VHR producing company to work with the music over there.
Yeah. We have several working at labels, but working for a very small record label, indie label, to Universal Music. So it's very, very diverse.
Yeah.
Really depends on where you want to get your expertise, and like Lotte said in the beginning, it's really how you want to make your own education. You either can work on your skills that you already have and deepen them more, like say you already have an interest in marketing and do a marketing internship. But you can also look at where don't I have skills yet, or where do I need some extra experience, and try to inspire yourself by doing something that's a bit out of the box or a bit out of your comfort zone. Might get you somewhere. Yes. I see that there's other questions coming in.
Rija, I hope I pronounced your name well. And you're asking whether there is a pre-master for the program and whether it's taught in English.
There is a pre-master for this program. It's partly set up by bachelor courses of our musicology bachelor. Most of those are in Dutch, but I think there's some taught in English, but there's no set pre-master. Every application is dealt with individually, so if you happen to be not submitted directly, but in need of some deficiencies and need a pre-master, this will be tailored to your skills and your expertise already, and we will look at, what would you need, what would this pre-master be, what would it entail, and then we'll set up an individual track for you that functions as a pre-master for this master. Hopefully that is an answer to your question.
I hope so. Yeah, we get the information added though that most Dutch bachelors are applicable in any case for the pre-masters.
I don't know. I know
because Well, we'll send us your question and we can look into it further and come back to you.
It's so that if you have a bachelor degree of musicology, there probably is no problem with you enrolling in this master. If you have another bachelor degree that's not musicology based, we'll just look at your application. We'll look at it individually about your experience, etc., etc. And it might happen so that you are enrolled anyway in this master. We have students from the conservatory, students from other schools that are offered an admission directly, and others that are offered a pre-master to join this master course. So hopefully that's enough information.
For now. Yeah.
Let's continue with our PowerPoints. We have some beautiful pictograms here. Why in Utrecht? Because it's the greatest city. Yes. No, we have an excellent teaching staff, of which I'm part of. Thank you. No, it's a fun team. It's a small team. It's an expertise team with different expertises all together, with different networks, and it's very direct. It's very small scale. It's fun. I think you can agree.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has a direct link with the musical infrastructure that is based in Utrecht. Utrecht is a city with a lot of musical infrastructure. We have many ensembles here. We have the Nederlandse Bachvereniging, we have Festival Oude Muziek, Tivoli Vredenburg. It's a very nice city. Although we have the musical infrastructure here, we also have an international community. It's an international city. We can start from here and conquer the world. And it's a very vibrant city. There's lots of students here, but also lots of local inhabitants. Things happen, and it's very cozy as well.
It is. And actually, if you do come from abroad and study here, there's an international community as well.
Yeah.
And it's a great place to start exploring the country from, because it's in the middle of the country. And Amsterdam is only half an hour away. And Rotterdam, same. So yeah, it's also in the country. It's a great city, and it's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah. To answer the question of Luc, would a minor in musicology be sufficient? Probably yes. I cannot tell you directly because we're looking at it individually, but please send us your admission. If you apply for this master and we accept you, this offer still stays. It stays forever. We have admitted you, so you can choose whether or not to come. If you don't apply, then we can't admit you. So you still have the choice. The choice is yours. So it's better to apply and then see if you're admitted.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Yay.
Lotte, you're now half year in this program.
Yes.
I think you like it.
I do. Yeah.
Can you share some experience with maybe certain courses you did and that stand out?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's nice to tell first why I chose to start this program, because I did my bachelor's in historical musicology, and when I finished that, there was not really a program of a master's program that really appealed to me. So then I got a job offered, and I decided to work for a few years in the field, which was very nice and very interesting. But I noticed that I missed some practical skills. And then eventually the EU started with this program, and so that appealed to me to have the combination of both the classical academic musicology and embedded in the practical field. Yeah. I was a bit excited and curious about how the practical skills would be implemented within a university program, of course, but that turns out to be very nice and to go very well. With the experience that I had already in the field, and that the things I learn now, they really combine, and they fit.
I must add to that it's of course it's a university master degree in musicology, so there's definitely an academic aspect in this master. Although it says applied, so it tries to build bridges to the working field and to build on skills and experience that you might need starting to work.
I think those skills are very needed, because you see the gap now between a lot of musical experts in the field or business experts. But then to have people that know both, they're rare, and they're asking for us actually.
We found out that we have more companies wanting our students as internships, that there are students available. And most of our students that have actually followed this master have a really good job already in the industry, going from a marketing manager to with the Nederlands Kamerkoor, marketing manager at Califax, working at Concertgebouw as an assistant programmer. Those are really cool jobs, and we've heard back from the industry that there's a lack of people having both musicology skills and practice skills. It's either a person that knows a lot about Mozart, doesn't know how to write a Facebook post, or somebody from
a contract or
somebody from marketing communication who doesn't know who Mozart is. So this is a good combination,
Yes,
and it really works.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have an anecdote about a certain course that you maybe want to share, or about a group work?
Well,
maybe,
I already
or
talked about the journalistic writing
the
course,
magazine.
writing about music.
Yeah,
That was great. But I think now with the Saging Music, all the guest lectures are very interesting. So there's a lot of people from the field coming to tell us what their personal path was, what background they come from, and what they're doing now. And that's very exciting.
We actually had somebody from Radio 4 asking you what you would program. Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, they're really also the other way around, really interested in what our ideas are, and they're coming to
it's fun
to learn from us as well. So it's a very good conversation all the time. And we're working on a project which really we're trying to make a product that we really can launch into the musical field. So we really have to think about what is the current state of the field, and what do we lack there, what's needed, and how can we improve that in quite a serious
many bumps.
Way. Yeah, many bumps. Yeah, many bumps to overcome. But yeah. I think we have another question here from Tim.
Yes. Tim asked us, is 1 year to complete the program realistic, or do students need longer because of the internship to complete the program? It's both ways. It's realistic. Yes. There's many students who do it in 1 year, but it takes dedication, and it's a full-time master. So if you full-time put your energy in it, it's definitely worth and normal to graduate within 1 year. Although many people choose to do an internship that is a bit more intense than the hours or the ECs that stand for it, there's also lots of companies that ask for longer terms that say, well, we want you 6 months, and maybe 6 months, 3 or 4 days a week instead of 2. So that's sometimes challenging. So it's up to you, together with your supervisor, to find the right balance, work-life study balance, and to make sure that you have the right experience and a great placement and a great internship.
Yeah, I think this also ties into making your own masters. You can, I think, if you do choose to take longer for the course, for the master's program, then that you take more out of it. Because it's it's not then the case because it's too much to finish within 1 year, but it's too interesting and there's too many opportunities that you don't want to stop yet.
It's a lifetime.
That's rather
interesting for a lifetime. Yeah. But it's very realistic to do it in 1 year. But it's a master university program, so
it does take you 40 hours a week. That's completely true. Yeah.
Okay. We talked a bit about internships already, and we talked a bit about career prospects, and we found out that most of our students actually get a job through their internship. That's why we also claim that it's wise to start with your thesis earlier and do your internship after your thesis, but there's room for that. There's lots of ways to do an internship. Like we said before, labels, cultural institutions, festivals, orchestras, ensembles. Basically, if it feels like a good placement, if it's in the industry, if you get the right tasks, if you get the right responsibility, if you get independent tasks, and then that will be a good placement. You're entitled to find your own internship. Will suggest things, but it's up to you have to take ownership of it.
Yes. You really do support us in that. So that's
great. You get supervision, don't worry, but you can make your own path. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, that's maybe important. The entry requirements for this MA Applied Musicology is the following. If you have a bachelor degree in music, music studies, or musicology, or any other field, plus you have a demonstrated strong motivation for musicology, it's definitely a must. It is a musicology master, so musicology should be a big part of your life. If you provide us with writing samples, preferably in English, because English is required, and a statement of motivation together with your either diplomas or your CV, and send them to us. There is a commission that looks at those and judges whether you meet the requirements and are directly enrolled, or either need to work on some deficiencies to be enrolled. That can be anything from a pre-master up to read this book over the summer, and you can enroll in the master. If you have any questions regarding your requirements, please send an email to humanities@uu.nl, because every case is judged individually. So I can't really tell, if you do this, then you're enrolled, because it's really up to your trajectory so far and what you've shown so far. I hope that answers many of the questions. Let's see, for the application deadlines. Deadlines for non-EU students is the 1st of April this year, so that's 2 months away. And for Dutch and EU students is the 1st of June. But don't wait until the last minute. You can enroll, or you can admit your application already today. Yes, we have a rolling admission. So anything that comes in is automatically also handled. So please send your applications as soon as you can.
Yes.
Let's see if we have some time left to have some unique USPs about the program. So let's recap. What is the MA Applied Musicology all about? It has infrastructural embedding, it has intermediate embedding, it's research orientated, embedding in the job market, so it builds bridges. It offers infrastructural expertise and has a network of staff members that is really interesting. It's practical training, applied skills in labs. It's multilingual possibilities in writing skills. So it's everything is taught in English, but of course sometimes you maybe have to write a review for the Volkskrant, and then you can try in Dutch. And there's a very pluriform student community, as we mentioned before. Let's see if we have anything else. Is there any questions so far I haven't answered? Okay, wonderful. Is there something you want to add, Lotte, that we haven't discussed so far?
No, don't think so. Only though, just really encourage you to apply.
Yes,
it's a wonderful program, and I think it's unique within the Netherlands, but also maybe within Europe. I haven't come across any other program like. So
it's the best program.
Yes.
So I hope I'll see you all back in September.
Yeah. Oh, I see one quick question about the applications coming in. Whether it's obligated to write the written example in English?
No. You can hand in a written example in Dutch if you want to, or in other language, although we don't have an Italian professor here, so it might be best to do it in Dutch or in English. But if you do it in Dutch, you also have to make sure that you show that your English is good enough to take a master's in English. Yeah. So you might have to do an English test, etc., or something. But yeah, that again can be discussed.
Yeah. So writing it in English is a good start to start practicing and doing everything in English. So yeah.
We have another question coming in.
Yes. Nina asked me how many days I am at school, and I like that you're calling it school, because I do that myself as well, because we're such a group together. It really feels like that. I think I commute back and forth to Utrecht 3 days a week, and I live in another city, so yeah, I'm here 3 days.
I think the official contact hours are about
12.
12.
Yeah. And the rest is by 3 days. Study at home, and also a lot of group work. So yeah, the courses are 12 hours a week, but the group work, you have to meet up with your groups and do a lot of things. So and
it's not all group work.
There's no, of course. And next to that, all your individual work. But so yeah, yeah, you can be quite flexible with how you do what, but still. Yeah, you have to embed it in your week.
Yeah, you say it's a full-time program, but the contact hours are a little bit less.
Yeah. I hope it makes it clear for you, Nina.
Yeah. So if that's the only questions so far, then I'll just say thank you very much for joining us. Yes. And if you have any other questions, or if you have any thoughts after this webinar, please email us for Very Nice, and we'll answer your questions if possible as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye.